Breaking news on DOGE's cost-cutting crusade. A federal judge, the same one who blocked Trump's birthright citizenship order, has now blocked the Education Department and Office of Personnel from sharing data with DOGE. But other courts have ruled differently, setting up a legal showdown. Meanwhile, what would you say you do here?
What would you say you do here?
It sounds like a simple question, but Elon Musk's mass email to federal workers demanding they list 5 accomplishments by tonight has Washington in full meltdown mode. Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn is live on Capitol Hill with the latest. Hillary.
Hi, Brian. Well, Elon Musk's request to have government employees tell him 5 things they did last week is hitting a nerve, while most people would love for the opportunity to brag to their boss about everything that they accomplished. Some people in government who are paid by you and work for you think that they're too good for that. Democratic Senator Tina Smith attacking Musk over this request using her favorite D word, and it's not Democrat. Smith saying, quote, "This is the ultimate D-boss move from Musk, except he isn't even the boss, he's just a D." Musk says he's already received a large number of responses and says those people should be considered for a promotion. Other Democrats say a CEO would never ask their workers to do this.
Imagine that you got this email tomorrow from your boss's 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 boss, who knows nothing about what you do. This would be like Tim Cook sending that email to every single Apple Store employee. If Tim Cook did that, we would say Tim is past his due date and doesn't know how to run a company anymore.
Musk says this is not that complicated. It's a pulse check, saying, quote, "The reason this matters is that a significant number of people who are supposed to be working for the government are doing so little work that they're not even checking their email at all. In some cases, we believe non-existent people or the identities of dead people are being used to collect paychecks. In other words, there is outright fraud." Republicans think this is a great idea.
The price tag that the taxpayers pay is right at $271 billion a year. Is it too much to ask for them to verify why they're making an average salary of $106,000 a year? I guess the arrogance of the workers who says that's a heavy lift is what's wrong with that's what the Americans are sick and tired of. It's not their money. We're the ones who are paying the bills.
And Brian, federal workers have had over a month to get back to work for the government in person. Elon Musk says starting this week, those who are failing to show up in person to work are going to be placed on leave. Brian?
Got to get those carpools going again, Hillary Vaughn.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Thank you. And Trump, well, he's all in, calling the cuts long overdue and telling Musk to get more aggressive. The administration has already slashed 2,000 USAID jobs, is cleaning house at the Pentagon and cutting millions in Biden-era green grants. But Kamala Harris, who knows a thing or two about wasting money, is sounding the alarm over the DOGE effort.
Some see the flames on our horizons, the rising waters in our cities, the shadows gathering over our democracy, and ask, what do we do now? But we know exactly what to do because we have done it before.
All right, I'm going to the most polite person on this panel to start because I'm curious about the reactions we're going to get. I want to go to Lydia Who on this. Lydia, yes, that's right, Lydia. You're that person.
So nice.
Bring some facts to bear on what's going on here. This debate is totally impolite. What's really going on?
You know, I want to highlight something that you said when you introed this entire segment, which is that Americans can't even tell what their government is doing for them. That's really what all of this is about, is that we've gotten so bloated and inefficient. You ask the regular person, you can't even figure out what's going on. This is being highlighted by a report that's actually coming out today from a great organization, you know it well, Open the Books. Mm-hmm. They audit routinely government spending and efficiency processes, and they're saying essentially this. They say there are 75 defunct or obsolete agencies, underscoring how outdated just record keeping obscures accountability. Americans face significant challenges understanding just the composition and the cost of their own government. So that's what we're talking about, is the cost. They drill down even further, highlighting specific agencies. We've talked about USAID a lot. Headcount grew 218% since the year 2000. But Charles, spending soared 467,000. Health and Human Services, another example for you. The Office of Refugee Resettlement spent $22.6 billion on migrant aid since 2020, including on, get this, home loans, business grants, credit repair. I could go on and on, but it just shows you the disproportionate pace of spending and where we're spending those monies.
And who's getting that money, right?
Right.
And it's just, I mean, I'm so sick of the Kamala Harris show. I thought it was over.
Still here.
Just getting started, Charles.
Just got an agent.
It's all about doom and gloom and fear mongering. There's never a solution. Something is always alluded to. We've done it before. What the hell did we do before? I don't understand. What do you mean? We're going down the wrong path. The nation has seen it. It's happened. And by the way, it's happening around the world, right? Where governments have gotten too large, too bureaucratic, and they've overshadowed the people that they're supposed to serve. This government has overshadowed the people it's supposed to serve. It comes first. Think about any debate over funding in government, and you bring up taxes. The conversation always feels like we go to work for government. Like, oh, well, if we get a break on our taxes, that hurts the government. Well, you know, like we owe government instead of vice versa. When did this thing flip? And how do we get it back into some form of sanity? And by the way, yeah, fill it out. 5 things that you did. Can you do 2? How about 1? They should say, if you can't do any of that, at least give me a blood print so I know you're at your desk. Something, because these are empty seats. These buildings are empty. They're like these. You remember when they found all those clay soldiers that the first premiere of China, right?
Yeah, the terracotta warriors.
Right, that's it. It's like those terracotta warriors. They're just dead. They're down, and there's armies of them, but they're not doing anything.
Well, what's so funny to me is, and the soundbite that Hillary played highlighted that, is the arrogance that these people somehow think that being required to respond to an email with what they're doing is somehow repulsive to them. How dare anyone ask what I have been doing?
Yeah.
That doesn't work that way in the private sector.
No.
My husband jokes with me, he's like, what do you do every day? I'm like, it's pretty obvious to my bosses what I do. If I don't show up, they know it. Right? Like, you show up, you tell them what you do, or you get fired and you go home. But there's no arrogance in the private sector, the way that the bloated public government has become this way, where somehow with, a lot of people who are against this were saying, well, all of this is illegal because a lot of these workers are in the union, or there's private data in the FBI that they can't share. We're not asking you to share secret information of who you came up with in the FBI or the NSA, right? We're asking you simply to, if you have shown up and what you've been doing.
Well, he said if Tim Cook did this for Apple, you'd say, well, he's past his prime. Well, he doesn't have to do it because he runs a competitive company that has other people trying to take his market share. And if their company, were to waste $36 trillion in debt, they might not be able to compete so well. So there's a little difference between Apple and the government.
Starbucks is dead today, right?
Don't steal my market check, Charles Payne.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to just make a reference.
No, give us a good tease on this.
No, they're streamlining to become more efficient.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're doging themselves.
Yeah.
To all the politicians, we don't work for you. You work for us. We pay you. So pipe down. But I think one of the reasons that Elon Musk would send this out, like, please tell me what you do, is because it elicits this kind of response from those left-wing liberal nuts, not going to curse, who are dug in on their control of government. And so, one, it is just to trigger them and to get them to make themselves look like greater fools. But it also is the Musk method. And Mark Andreessen has talked about this. When he goes into any company that he runs, that he founded, when he bought Twitter, and he goes into Twitter, these are the questions he actually asked management.
Right.
What did you do this week?
Right.
And I was talking to someone who's a technologist in one of the technology companies where he used to work. Every Friday, every employee at this tech company was required to send an email to everyone else in the company naming the 3 things they had accomplished that week. And everyone in the company received it. And one, it was to allow you to praise what other people had done, but it was also to allow you to make sure everybody was on the same page and headed in the same direction and exerting energy on appropriate tasks. So to someone who works in politics and in government, yeah, it is shocking to them. Actually, something that is productive and businesslike. Yeah, it really catches them off guard, doesn't it? It's not a waste of time and our money.
Accountability. That's the bottom line.
One of their 5 bullets is probably going to be, I wrote this email, and I haven't done that in a while, so give me a break. Taylor, we talked about Starbucks earlier. Charles gave us you a little runway on that one.
I know.
What's going on with Starbucks?
He pushes forward our market check. I love it. So, yes, so Starbucks coming out this morning, laying off about 1,100 corporate roles, again, to streamline, reduce duplications, and make sure that they're being super efficient. In addition, they're doing about a 30% reduction in menu items. So pop quiz, raise your hand in the last year if you've ordered a Frappuccino or a white hot chocolate.
Nope.
Good, because that's one of the items they're probably getting rid of.
The orange mocha Frappuccino is going away.
They've said several Frappuccino beverages and the white hot chocolate.
Okay.
We'll
That's not
find out.
my drink. I'm a black coffee kind of guy. That's staying, right?
Yes.
Straight black coffee.
Back to basics.
Would it surprise you if they got rid of it?
Well, see,
Maybe not.
I don't know. That might be a bad sign.